Okay, this is a setup I've got for myself at the moment, but I'm not talking about it, I'm talking about me. Because, why was it that I first got involved in all of this magic and witchcraft and all this kind of bullshit? Why? What was it about me? Well, I was unwell, wasn't I? If you get chronic fatigue and it's an incurable disease, you want someone who can cure it. I had my strange experiences which proved something was true, and I made a mistake. You see, I extrapolated from that there must be a way of getting myself completely better, and I was looking for all these people, essentially for the cure for my diseases, until I, recognized that that couldn't happen. And I started to realize that, maybe there's something else to this. And I started hearing about, like, enlightenment, spiritual experience, and that then changed my path, my journey even further. But I was still curious about this stuff. If you're having a ghost experience, you got a curiosity about all these things. And so eventually, you get yourself a little Ouija board. You start playing around with it, but you don't want to play around with it just because you want to be a good medium. You play around with it because you're curious about the subject. At least that's where I come from. There's other people who come to it from different points of view. You can see I got a little infrared light there because the infrared light is supposed to add energy to this whole thing to help make it work. Whether that's the case or not, that's another issue, see? But this is the interpretation. So I just thought I'd show you that thing. So, I guess all those people who turned around to me and used that phrase all the time, it works, it works, it works. I was really upset with them, and I still am really upset with them, because if something works and someone turns up to them and they say, like, I'm a chronic fatigue sufferer, okay? It's their job to cure you. Alright, not to send you a healing, but to cure you. If they don't do that, then maybe they aren't as powerful as they set themselves out to be. And a lot of these people, they're just sick in the head. They want to seem like they're amazing, powerful people who've got this, that, and the other going for them, just to scare people. It's superstitious fear and dread. That's all they want to do. Do they have the intelligence to actually read some good books written by good people, alright, and actually start thinking in a scientific way to try and understand stuff and to build up a genuine science of this subject? Basically, no. Why? Because they're douchebags, alright? They're little shits. They're like the bullies in school, but they're like grown-ups. And they're using fear as their main tool. Either that or they're only interested in money, they're not interested in helping people. And so they set up like crystal shops somewhere, I got nothing against crystal shops, but some of these people, they're setting them up without actually like having an interest or indeed any belief in what it is they're selling. And I find that wrong. I do tarot for a living, and I had a couple of calls today, and I was there for these people, okay? And I helped one person to see that her relationship really shouldn't be happening, and I helped another person who was basically being persecuted by one of these people I'm talking about. A person with bad energy, alright? Some people even get into all this weird stuff because they think it'll help other people, but in reality they're getting into it, or it's being presented to them by the universe in order to help them. But not everyone can see that. There's a certain level of responsibility. Alright? Responsibility to yourself, responsibility to others, to work on yourself. But there's also so many people out there who just want to numb themselves with like daft beliefs and believe this, that, and the other, and think that this person, that person, the other person was like, coming out, was by their very nature a genuine like source of truth. Why? Because they're just looking out for another Bible to believe, another priest to follow. That's all bullshit. Alright? It is very, very frightening to be someone who thinks for themselves. It's very, very frightening, alright, to stand alone and to work things out for yourself. But that's what you are morally obliged to do. Not just to tell everyone how scary you are or how powerful you are. No, this stuff works. Oh yeah, then why are you doing such a shit job? Alright? Why haven't you got, the ideal housewife, child, everything? If you're so fucking powerful, you can't do it for yourself. Oh, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Alright? They're a bunch of shits. That's all they are. A complete bunch of shits. The important thing is to build up a science of understanding about this stuff, because if there is something good in it, even to the smallest degree, that is useful for people. Throw the religious stuff out the window. Throw that stuff out the window, okay? Religiosity, religious experience, that's a tool to help you get to the state of mind, that's all. And this stuff here is mainly about luck. Okay? There's two interpretations I'll bring to you. One is Charles Cosmanio, who said that his stuff works. Okay? Straightforward, it works. Alright? Why does it work? He doesn't say. Then you got Aleister Crowley, who said that if you want to make a thunderstorm, you can't just wait for a completely clear blue sky and wave your wand and hey presto, you got thunderclouds. No, he says the right type of clouds have got to be in place. It's got to carry the right charge and the rest of it. So he's talking about luck, shifting luck. Alright, increasing probability bit by bit. A lot of the scientific tests done by these people, or research by these people I should say, was based upon luck. Random number generators. Changing the result with intention. So that's essentially what we're talking about here, to the most part, not entirely, but to the most part. Okay? So there was one particular thing I had going with me, a little minor health issue. And I created an intention, I created a code, I said it. The very next day I got some benefits, okay? But with a more complex issue, with more serious stuff going on, I've tried that before. It didn't quite give me what I wanted. Namely, it didn't give me anything, it was a waste of my time, basically. Alright? This stuff will not cure you of your diseases. Alright? So it's a little bit more luck in the right direction, maybe. A little bit more positive energy. You've got to have a good definition of it, good visualization as to how it's going to operate, what it's going to do in order to bring that stuff in. You don't do this stuff because you're the great powerful Merlin, and then hey presto, boom, you make all kinds of weird wonderful things happen, and it just happens by itself. Because you're so powerful and da-da-da-da-da. Fuck off. Just go fuck yourself. Alright? Get out of the fantasy world. Get into reality. Put things to the test properly. Be self-critical properly. Work things out properly. Work out the limitations of something properly. Because if you don't work out the limitations of something and you go around telling people it works, you are lying to yourself and you're lying to them. Alright? You are dishonest. You are a piece of shit. Alright? As I said, I set this thing up, I did my thing with it, I got a result, it was about my digestive system, and hey presto, I had a beneficial result the next day with my digestive system. Now, correlation does not prove causation. Okay? Correlation does not prove causation. So maybe there was something else going on, or maybe all the right things were in the right place, you just needed a little nudge in the right direction. Maybe it's happening on a psychosomatic point of view, so that I did my stuff, and it did something to my mind which helped to, adjust the pyloric contractions in my digestive system, if that's the right phrase. It's late at night, so I may be getting my language wrong here. And then that had to, dislodge something in my digestive system. Maybe that was it. Okay? Work on a psychological level. But maybe there is something else going on here. I've had energy experiences, and I've had very strange experiences over distance before, suggesting there is something which can happen telepathically over distance, but it's difficult to control. These things seem to happen almost spontaneously, or either that, or you've got to know precisely what the state of mind is in order for it to work, but you can't always work out what the right state of mind is, and then you can't always get to it, because you've got all the various natural things which stop you from thinking right, happening for you. Because you're human, you're natural, you're organic. Alright? The batting average of a World Series whatever will be variable because human skill is variable. You can't always do it. And it doesn't matter. But you keep it wise because it's experimental. Okay? Not a hard and fast thing, it's a human skill thing. And none of us are perfect, because most of us have got to carry on working and paying our bills and all that kind of stuff. We don't have the time or the energy to dedicate ourselves to living like a monk in a cave all the damn time. And if we did, we'd probably be bored witless and would be jonesing after a bit of Facebook. Okay? Get perspective. Get things right. Carry on experimenting, but, get things right. If you see this as being about luck, alright, something to make something a little bit more lucky. You're going to a job interview, you get the job. Why did you get the job? You made it a little bit more lucky. Maybe it was your state of mind. Maybe it was all psychological. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe there was an energy or a thought form you sent out to that place at that time, and it made the interviewer like you that little bit more. But if you were to turn up in rags, stinking of booze, alright, and told him to his face to go and screw himself, you wouldn't get the job no matter how many black candles you burned on a Tuesday afternoon whilst chanting the Lord's Prayer backwards. Would you? Right? So fuck that shit. It's about energy, consciousness, thought, love, good emotion, focused by meaning, and meaning controlled by letters or numbers or symbols, and communicated to us, to our subconscious mind, through things that we can, connect our minds to. And so therefore, religious ideas or mythological beings are sometimes used, and sometimes numbers and codes. Numbers and codes. Okay? Won't cure you of all your diseases, won't turn you into a multimillionaire. But there's something about the energy which, when it's sent, it seems to do something, to a certain extent. And that's essentially how we have to leave it. Think of it more about luck. By all means, I'm using the right equipment, I'm using the right extra bits. Told you about this before, a bit of orgonite. Weird, but it's got something going for it. Actually, no, shove that on there for now. So, great toys, good to play with. And as far as using this stuff to make like homeopathic remedies, kind of like makes some sense. I mean, I had experiences when I was young and I was able to do different stuff in different ways, and I'd wave a crystal over a person's beer and I'd change its flavour. I just went down to something to entertain people in the pub. Look what I can do, Make a beer have the burning sensation down the throat of whiskey. So maybe you can actually imprint a message and an energy into a liquid. And you make it so it's like going to be a long-lasting liquid, distilled water, a little bit of colloidal silver, or maybe some vodka in it to preserve it so it can last longer. Make sure it's structured using a magnetic stirrer. Make it more receptive to good energy, and then you could thoroughly define what it's supposed to be as a result of tons of research, tons of meditation on the thing, adding symbols in the form of number codes or whatever, and deliver that luck of that meaning to that liquid, and maybe it would have some kind of energetic effect upon the body. Okay? Again, it's not going to make the blind see or help a leper grow his leg back, but it's an extra bit of energetic luck. Okay? Good luck delivered somewhere. And all these people who are putting photographs of a place that they want to positively affect on the output plate, and on the input plate putting a symbol for what they want doing to it, that's the physical thing. But they'd have to go into their tranquil meditation, using the symbols and meditating on the symbols and delivering that energy, delivering that luck over distance to that place. So that's what it seems to be right now. There's too many questions. There's no hard and fast answers. You're not the most powerful person in the universe. Alright? But there's something interesting about this technology, and it seems to be good. And I like the aesthetics of the Bocana Lab stuff, I like what these things look like. I got another health luck thing going for me there. Chose the rates with great care. Used my little rune stones. And a little bit of fingernail clippings for myself to deliver the energy to me. unpowered, because it's like my own system, you know, it's my own energy system, right? But I could plug a frequency generator into that. But I think I would do that to try and create like a good beneficial scalar on there to deliver that to whatever's there, into whatever's there. So let's say a crystal or some herbs, and then have some prepared water on this side. That's what I would probably use it for. Okay, if I wanted to use a frequency generator plugged into this thing. But without, I'm just using it freestanding. It's more a question of bringing that extra bit of luck in, sending a bit of luck to me. You know, in the old days, you know, in my old dim, dark, distant pagan days, they'd say the few drops of your blood will bind it to you, bind the thing to you. What they hadn't worked out is there is something about DNA. In fact, it reacts well to energy. Okay? And when I was talking about energy, just bear with me a second. In the mess of my room, frequency generator by Spooky 2, remote unit. These things actually do, it's got like some frequency sets going through it right now. Got a sample of my DNA in there. Okay, it actually does have an effect upon the body, remotely, over distance. This thing can affect you from like miles away. So this whole stuff has some merits to it. But we've got to ask questions, we've got to think about the energy involved, we've got to experiment, we've got to explore. And we can't turn around and say, it works, it works, it works. Because if you do that, you're being an airhead. Alright, you're being dishonest to yourself and being dishonest to other people. There's something here which is adjusting or shifting the luck somehow. Could be psychological. But then there's an aspect of maybe it isn't. Alright? Because it isn't 100% psychological. I've had ghost experiences, I've had astral projection experiences, you know, I've had these things, I've felt energy moving. I went to Glastonbury in '94 and I had a spiritual healer doing things and I could describe to her what she was doing to me without her saying it. I could feel it. But it didn't cure me of all diseases, okay? So get your language right and understand what this is more about.